Welcome to Keepin' It Real, your go-to radio show for fresh insights and vibrant introductions. Get ready to dive into a world where we offer you the latest in real estate wisdom and the juiciest community tidbits. From expert advice courtesy of top realtors to opportunities to give back through local charities, we've got you covered. Plus, we'll shine a spotlight on the young athletes driving our local sports scene and uncover the buzzworthy happenings both in town and beyond. Stay tuned for a jam-packed hour of enlightenment and entertainment right here on Keepin' It Real.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Keepin' It Real radio show brought to you by the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios, right behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. Now, I am here with a special guest, Jennifer Webb. She is a local author. We've had a couple authors on the show, and so this is a new one. First time on the show, right?
First time.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So this is going to be fun. We're going to talk a little bit about her book, and it's a children's book, right?
Yes.
And we're going to talk about why she did it and what she likes about writing and everything. But before we do that, we always like to get to know the person in the seat. And so maybe you could start just by telling us a little bit about yourself. I mean, like, when did you get here to Sierra Vista, and what brought you here?
So in 2020, my husband had a job transfer, and so we came down to Sierra Vista. We were up in Sandpoint, Idaho, which is kind of where the story originates.
Okay.
And
And where is that in Idaho? Sandpoint?
Sandpoint is north. It's the North Panhandle.
Oh, wow.
And so it's way up there.
Way up there.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half south of the Canadian border.
Okay.
And it's the coolest place because you can go an hour anywhere out of the town.
Yeah.
And you'll be in another state. So you're in Montana, or you'll be in Washington State, or you'll just be further south somewhere, but you'll end up out of Idaho because it's just that tiny, tiny panhandle.
Was it super cold up there?
No, it's really interesting because the mountains,
yeah,
the Canadian air goes around the mountains and freezes the bottom part of Idaho. We got a lot of snow, but it wasn't that cold.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I've been to Idaho many times and hunted Idaho and everything, but I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Well, I didn't know that either until I got there.
I just assume it's way up there, so it's got to be cold. So
Right,
yeah.
right. No, it's amazing. It's an amazing place.
That's cool.
So we came here for a job transfer, and we've been here ever since.
Yeah.
And of course, we used your facility with real estate, and
we appreciate you.
Yeah, we love you guys and got to know you guys, and so thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, no, it was great to hear. I didn't even know that you were an author until you told me about it, and so it's kind of cool. Like I say, we've had a couple authors and all different kinds of things that they've written about. And he even had some people who were into film and some other things. So that's what this show's all about, is really about our community and the people who live here. And I just find it so interesting because I don't know that I've ever been in a place where there was such a diversity in terms of people's experience. A lot of people, a little bit older community, so they've experienced a lot of life, and I'm just shocked by some of the cool things that people do. And so thanks for coming on.
No, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. So my whole concept of being an author started years and years and years ago.
Really?
I never wanted to be this old to publish my first book.
Okay.
But I stopped to raise my kids.
Okay.
And I focused on them. I'm a mom of 4 boys. So everything in my home was rubber, styrofoam, plastic wrap.
Awesome.
I couldn't own anything nice, couldn't own any crystal or china. I mean, it was broken by those boys.
Right.
I always would write little stories and poems.
Really? Okay.
And I'd have them in these notebooks, and I have lots of notebooks. But as we were visiting, my oldest son still lives up in Sandpoint, Idaho.
Okay.
And as we were leaving him this last October, not this October, but the year prior.
2024?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. this book kind of came to mind as I was watching. I love the trains against the mountains. I love the whole beautiful tall trees and how the sun is always just framed by the mountains. And as I'm grateful my husband drives, so I can be distracted by all the other things around, and I'm like snapping all these photos.
You have to give some lessons to Sherry because she's usually sleeping.
Oh,
At least you're out there looking at it all.
I just want to see everything. I just want to take it all in. And as I was taking some photos and I saw this beautiful train against the sun, and I was like, I need that photo. And that's when this book came to mind, because I've always had these trains. They would come in and out of this magical forest that we used to live in. And I was like, where do they go? Like, what do they do? But then I said, it doesn't matter, because where I live, it's magical because of the things around me. So this book kind of came together. I came home, I wrote this book and put it together.
Did you do it right away?
Right away.
Just right away.
I just really, because it was in my mind. I wanted to make sure it was on paper. And then, of course, I went through and edited, this or added this and tried to make it flow better, put it in a perspective. And then I was hung up on the illustrations, which has always been my problem as to why I've never published before.
Okay.
So I have loads of amazing photos. And especially when we were up in our magical forest, my one son took a photography class. And so we were out everywhere, taking all these different things. I take things in focus, out of focus, little things, big things. And we were taking all these fun photos. And I was like, I bet I could take those photos, something digital that I could make an illustration out of.
Okay.
And so I found a program where I could take my personal photos and turn them into oils. And by doing that, everything came to life. And it was beautiful. It erased the faces, because I had a lot of personal, photos and stuff.
Sure.
And it erased their faces, which made it so you can put yourself into these photos. And I was like, this is the way we're going to make this happen. I'm going to try this. So I put together all the different photos and put them through the system to see which ones came out good, because not everything comes out right.
Of course, yeah.
Every AI program has their own interpretation of what they're looking at, and you're like, a 3-headed snake? No, that's not going to work. These funny things. You're like, okay, that's so not what I was looking for. And as I was putting things together, and I put it on a list, I was like, this needs to be the book. This is a children's book. My mom would always have stories to read to the grandkids, and she struggled with some of the books out there because they either had really cool illustrations and the storyline was crap. Like, it just didn't go anywhere, didn't teach the kids anything. But then she, on the opposite end, right, she would have the storyline would be amazing, but the illustrations were blah. They just were so dull, and the kids didn't want to look at them. They weren't interesting.
Yeah.
And so when I told her about this book and told her how things were going, she's like, if you could make a book that made it so there were amazing pictures for the young kids that can't read.
Yeah.
And then you have simple text for those kids that can read, and you have a good storyline, then you'll have a really good book put together that people can enjoy for a long time.
Well, let me ask you a question about that process. So first of all, how long did it take you from the time that you actually conceptualized this book to the actual time that you produced it? You actually had a print copy.
Right.
How long was that?
It was a year.
A year, wow.
So in October of last year was when I wrote this, and then I found the publisher that would take care of it in April and signed with April. And then it says on there that it was printed September 10th, but I believe that's when they sent it to the publishing company that actually makes the physical copies.
Right.
And then I had the approval given to them October 10th.
Okay. So it took you about a year to put together and everything. And by the way, I've seen the pictures in here, and folks, they're lovely. And what a neat idea to use modern technology. Did that scare you at all? Had you ever worked with AI or anything like that?
You know what? It was such an amazing blessing. It was the answer to everything. I I do some art, but it's not good enough. Every time I would do my own illustrations, I'm
It's
like,
tough,
no,
you know, unless you're professionally doing it.
Right. And I wanted this to be my story
Right.
and told through my eyes instead of somebody else's conception of what I was trying to write. So being able to illustrate it and write it is just a real beautiful dream come true.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, kudos to you for coming up with the idea to put, you know, your own photographs into oils, because I was looking at these pictures and when you first handed me the book, and I was going kind of just thumbing through it and looking at them and thinking, oh, wow, this is nice pictures and everything. Who in the world painted these things? Because I honestly, at first I thought, wow, she is an amazing painter. I didn't know that she even painted, or I wonder if she had it done professionally. That would be so expensive. And here you were able to use modern technology to kind of bring that about, and in, like you said, a way that would conform to what you were looking at, trying to project, which is cool.
To bring my
Your
thoughts,
story.
my story, so that you guys could really lose yourself in a photo in my magical forest.
Huh. Very cool. All right. Well, I want to ask more questions, but we've got to take a break. So we'll be right back with Jennifer Webb, author of this wonderful children's book. It's called I Once Lived in the Magical Forest, and we'll talk all about it right after this break. We'll be right back.
In a town with heart and history, the Sherry Ethell Team is the key. Serving service that we agree for military law and retirees. Stress-free process you will see. Personal care is our guarantee. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team, we never halt. Real experts here to guide your way, making dreams come true every single day. Trusted team that knows just what to do. The Sherry Ethell Team, working for you. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team is your one and only call.
It's the Home Spotlight Series, brought to you by the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, where home stories are told until they're sold.
Escape to true off-grid living at 1515 South Hidden Valley Road in Bisbee, Arizona. This incredible 3-bedroom, 2124 square foot log cabin rests on over 30 rolling acres with stunning views from every window. The open great room welcomes you to soaring gable ceilings, rustic log beams, beautiful staircase, and warm wood floors. The country kitchen blends vintage charm and modern convenience, complete with a functioning antique stove, propane range, refrigerator, and rich wood cabinetry. Upstairs, you'll find a spacious loft with 3 cozy bed nooks perfect for guests or family. Relax on the front porch, entertain on the massive patio, and enjoy the peace of a fully independent power and water system. Most furnishings are included, making this home ready to enjoy right away. 1515 South Hidden Valley Road in Bisbee, Arizona, all for just $400,000.
Set up an appointment today. Buy and sell with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty. We make success stories for a living. All right, welcome back to Keepin' It Real. I'm Dion Ethell. I'm your host, and this is the Keepin' It Real radio show, brought to you by the team here at the Sherry Ethell Team Long Realty Studios. And I am here with Jennifer Webb. She is an author of a cool little children's book. It's called I Once Lived in the Magical Forest. And she was giving, before the break, you know, if you're just tuning in, kind of a snapshot of, you know, why she wrote the book and how she got into it. And she had talked about, you know, always wanting to write a book, but got into this and having lived in this place that was kind of magical, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
This magical forest. And it's cool how it came about. Now, is the storyline connected to you and your family, or is it something different?
So that's the motivation.
And I don't want to steal the show, so I want people to buy the book, but at the same time.
You know what? Look at your Kindle, look at your ebooks, and you can see the first 6 pages and get a good idea of the pictures, get a good idea of the story thing.
Well, let's talk about that first. Okay. So where is it available?
So it's available on Amazon and available on Barnes & Noble and Apple and Google. So
you can get anywhere that you would normally buy a book.
Yeah.
And then there's something special about Kindles too, right?
Yeah. So with Kindle, if you have a membership with Kindle, it is a free download. And I love that, especially being around Christmas time. you can get this
Can't
book
get a lot of
instantly.
free things, right?
Yeah, and you can get it instantly and enjoy it and read it to your kids like right away instead of having to wait, because it's in hardcover and in paperback. It takes time.
Yeah, to get it actually delivered and get it here. But I got to tell you, so I'm a little older, a little old school, and I like to have things in my fingers, and
Yes.
old school books are kind of a thing for Sherry and I, and it's a wonderful book, really cool with the pictures and everything, and these paintings. I mean, I'm just a little bit stunned, honestly, because they turned out really, really well. I mean, it's really, you can see the brushstrokes and everything in it, and it's just really kind of neat pictures. But the story, tell me a little bit about this storyline and how it came about.
So the storyline is it goes through the seasons and what it's like to live in a magical forest. And I hope that as you read it and kind of think about my magical forest, it opens up a discussion between the parent and child as to what would be in their magical forest. Like, you might enjoy some of my things, and some of the things you might go, wait, I don't want that in my magical forest. And how fun is that, right? That you open up that discussion where you and your child can talk about different things and what they're thinking and how they're feeling. But the real purpose to this book was to address something that I learned a long time ago when I went to Russia and worked in an orphanage. So the director of the orphanage, everybody kind of smiled when they said, well, you were in a model orphanage. And I'm like, well, yeah, but there was a reason for that. One is because in the orphanage system in Russia, you are an orphan from newborn to 2, and then from 2 to 5 you're sent somewhere else, and then from 5 to 10 you're sent somewhere else, and then from 10 to aging out of the system you're sent somewhere else. So because you are moving constantly, you are unable to really bond or create a family situation. And so this model orphanage was, they would get the newborns till 2. So they had another orphanage for newborn to 2. And then they would get the little 2-year-olds, and the teachers of these groups would stay with them. So from every year that they grew up in this system, they would stay with them. So they weren't just like when they're 2, then they're 3, then they're somewhere else or something like that. They would stay with them. So they stayed with them from age 2 to the time that they aged out of the orphanage system. So it was a model orphanage because they were able to create that family unit.
Okay.
Where
That's
these kids
different.
weren't being shifted around from place to place. He said the concept of that was very needed because you have these detachment syndrome that happens from kids having people come in and out of their lives,
Right.
moving situations. They're always in survival mode. And so to take them out of that survival mode, you have to create a bonding activity. You have to have something where they can get together as a group of this kids all the same ages or whatever, and have that teacher is the foundation to that system. So we have the same concept and problems here in the United States with our foster system. Statistically, it's not good. I was just reading up on it. It's like 81% of all foster kids that foster out of the system, by the age 21, they're either dead or incarcerated. Or
It's terrible, isn't it?
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And it's because they haven't been able to have that moment of bonding or some situation where they felt needed or felt wanted. So when you have a storybook, you start with the kids, which I love the kids. You're able to create something in bonding by having a parent read to a child and have the bedtime story.
So now with your experiences in Russia and all that with children, was that part of why you wrote a children's book? Was that
Yes.
something? Yeah. And so that
Yes.
kind of was an inspiration there?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I wanted you start there, and then in the book at the end, there's an activity. It's a word search, which I love having activities.
Okay.
And it also
I saw that in there.
Yeah, so
I thought that was kind of interesting that you had that to find animals in the forest.
right, and
Yeah.
and then there's also, if they're not found in the word search, there's a way where you can have your own experience and write down what animals did you see. when I lived in my magical forest, I used to have a little fun bingo sheet to see what animals I encountered because they seemed to be everywhere. And it was fun. It was fun and exciting for my boys. It was fun and exciting because I'm like, what did you find? Where did you go? And they would report to me about all the different things and experiences that they had, because people and animals do coexist, and they coexist beautifully in the forest because the forest provides for everybody. So I wanted to start with that and make the forest come alive and be familiar. Especially for kids that in our area, they're here in the desert.
Right.
So the forest is kind of a new concept. They don't sometimes understand what's there, and it might be a little frightening to move somewhere else, especially when it has a lot of snow and not knowing how to deal with that kind of transition.
Oh, yeah. It's a great point. I remember when my nephews, when their mom passed away and we took in her children, and when they first got here, of course, they're from Pennsylvania, in an inner city, and here they are finding themselves in Hereford, Arizona, on the outskirts of town here, and we're pretty rural, and it's desert, and they'd never been to the desert before, and so it was quite a cultural shock, and just a shock altogether. But they grew up to like it, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of people who are kind of nurturing through that process. So it's great that you're kind of bringing kids into this thought process so early and kind of helping them feel like it's a positive thing and that it can be kind of interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to see out there. I wanted to start, this is the beginning of hopefully a series of places that people can get to know.
Oh, yeah.
So you have this, I once lived in the magical forest, and then I want to do mystical desert, right?
Desert. Okay.
Yeah, because there's so much here, and it can be very frightening when you don't know what you're going to and the circumstances that might be there. So, so this talks about, having a lot of the same things, a lot of the same, there's plants and there's people and there's cars and stores, and so you have those commonality things, but then there's this magical element. And I hope that as the kids get to read it and the parents get to read it, they kind of find why I felt it was magical.
Yeah.
So that they see the trains, they see the planes, and I address the wildfires, because I think fire is something that is very unsettling. And there's airports and airstrips and helicopters and amazing airdrops with the water. I mean, because things happen, in the magical forest.
And there's this whole renewal of life too. People forget about that. We only see the terrible stuff on the news, but then afterwards, these burned out areas start to green up, and the animals come back, and they're very resilient, and populations thrive.
They thrive.
It's pretty cool, actually, and it becomes this almost like this mecca for animal growth and everything again, and it's quite a deal. I mean, I've grown up around in the outdoors, so it just is interesting, because oftentimes people think about forest fires because it's a scary thing. It's a kind of an ugly thing in the beginning, and it's terrible. It does terrible damage and everything, but at the same time, afterwards, there's a whole nother aspect of it.
Yeah, there's
another
purpose
journey
and a reason, and it's treatable, right?
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Yeah. So I wanted kids to know that they can enjoy and live in a magical forest. And even though mine is a certain place in the United States, there are many beautiful forests,
of course,
of our amazing country. And so I didn't let them know per se where this was, because wherever these kids are, I want them to know that they too can make their place a magical forest.
Well, let's talk about that some more, but let's take a quick break. Jennifer Webb talking about I Once Lived in a Magical Forest, her children's book, and we're going to talk about her thoughts behind this book and what her future endeavors will be. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Keepin' it real.
Discover excellence in real estate with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, your premier choice in Cochise County. Sherry's amazing team brings honesty, expertise, and a deep understanding of the local market. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned homeowner, they're committed to your peace of mind and handle every detail for you. Their approach? personalized service. Above and beyond transactional real estate, building lifelong relationships, nationwide connections, local expertise. There's a reason this team is amongst the top realtors in Arizona and across the nation. You owe it to yourself to call or visit the Sherry Ethell Team, the top team at Long Realty, behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more info. Real integrity, real results.
Do uneasy markets have you waiting for the ideal moment to make home ownership a reality? Your answer lies in a conversation with Sherry Ethell and her exceptional team at Long Realty, a name synonymous with trust and reliability in Arizona's real estate landscape.
Hi, I'm Sherry Ethell, Realtor and Team CEO of the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty. Your ideal moment has arrived. We tailor our approach to you and your needs and goals. Let us put our extensive network to work for you and take the stress out of the process.
Whether buying or selling, remember the name Sherry Ethell and the Sherry Ethell Team. Visit the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more information. Real integrity, real results.
All right, welcome back to Keepin' It Real. I'm your host, Dion Ethell, and I am part of the Sherry Ethell Team here at Long Realty, right behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. And we're here in the studio today with Jennifer Webb and her book. She's talking about I Once Lived in a Magical Forest, a children's book that she wrote. That's what's so cool about this community is we were talking about this earlier, that there's really neat people in this community doing some really fantastic stuff in our little tiny towns, and like this children's book, and there's so many great charities and other things going on here, and that's what makes us special, I think, because we have so many unique people. We talked about the grocery store, and you walk by somebody and you don't know, they could be an author, they could have maybe served in the military in a very special way or a special place, and you didn't even know it. And it's just really cool to hear people's story. And so I appreciate you being here.
I believe everyone has a beautiful story. And
It's true.
have this wonderful daughter-in-law who asked me, she goes, why, I can't ever write a story. How can I ever do that? And I said, well, do you have something to say? She thinks about it and she goes, well, yeah, I think I do. And I said, okay. And what's your motivation to share it?
Yeah.
Like, what is it that you want people to glean from what you're saying? And for this book, for this children's book, I just wanted kids to have a fun bedtime story.
Yeah.
Reading bedtime stories was one of the best things I ever did as a parent. And I just remember one night I was exhausted. Raising the 4 boys, my youngest one, he was just like, I need a story. And he was getting older to where he can kind of look through the books himself. He can read a story himself.
Right.
I mean, because it was so hard to go from room to room to room to room and read every kid a story, right?
Yeah.
And it's just you right then because your husband's working on shift. And so you're like, oh my heavens, I'm so tired. And so one night I should have just done it.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And it has always eaten at me that I just didn't go in and just read a little simple story.
Yeah.
Because from then on, he didn't want one.
Oh, is that right?
So that opportunity was just gone. It was changed.
You missed it.
It broke my heart, right? It's just like, oh, I don't want that to ever be somebody's case where they could have done it. They could have enjoyed just a little moment. It just took a couple minutes. And this is an 8x10. I wanted to make sure people knew the size because
it's a pretty good size.
Most children's books are smaller, but because of the pictures and the illustrations being what they were, I wanted it to be big and beautiful and lose yourself in the illustrations, and like a picture book for the little kids that can't read.
Right.
And for the parents to read simple text. And so I had a sweet friend who said, 40 pages, that's a lot for a children's book. And I'm like, well, half of it's illustrations.
Yeah.
So it's really not that many pages.
Well, even the print it's big, bold print. It's not really small or anything. And there's 2-3 sentences on most pages. And and so it's definitely doable for a bedtime story.
Right. And so there's a few challenging words in there for those kids that are getting up there and wanting to have a few challenge words.
Yeah. Did you think about that when
did.
you wrote it?
I actually did. I was like, because mesmerizing is one of the words, and I thought about that word.
That's a big word.
It is, but it's such a cool word.
Yeah.
And I wanted them to know that word, because when they learn something cool, then they'll use it more.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, ooh, you're mesmerizing. Ooh, I want to stare at that. It's mesmerizing.
Right. Word of the day.
Right?
We used
That's
to do
the
that
word,
all the time.
right? Remember?
Yeah.
So I was like,
That's
okay,
cool.
so let's put in a few challenge words so that those that are getting a little bit older and can read, that they can enjoy an expansion of their vocabulary. But for the most part, it's simplicity in text.
Yeah.
So that kids who are beginning to read can do this.
Now, how, let's kind of get into a little bit of discussion just on, the process, right? The structure.
Oh, okay.
So, because somewhere out there, right, somebody's listening to the radio and they're thinking, I would always wanted to write a book, because so many of us do. I believe that's that. I mean, this is just my belief, but I feel like there's this human link between all of us, If you are somebody who likes to create things and you invent something, I guarantee there is somebody on the other side of the world thinking the same thing you are.
Absolutely.
And so if somebody's listening today and they're thinking, man, I wish I was an author, and I wish I could write a children's book, or I wish I could write a book of some kind. First of all, what is the process? How did you find a way to get this to print? And I know it's easier now than it's ever been, but...
Oh, it's still a process.
Is it a process?
It's still quite the process. So being a first-time publisher, I had to do a lot of research.
Okay.
And I really admonish people to, first of all, take your idea, get it to a finished state. So get it to somewhere where you could present that.
Okay.
And then the publishers will really talk to you. So I had that, and it was at a good state.
Did you have your pictures in there as well?
Yeah. So,
okay.
And I had to really dumb them down, like minor pixels, right? Because these were major pixels, and they wouldn't email. Everything's electronic now.
Yeah, they'd be huge.
Yeah,
this whole thing would be gigantic.
And it was too big to email. And a lot of that cases are, for novel writing, for a lot of pages and stuff, those emails, it's not emailable. Like, it's too big. So you have to figure out some other way to send it. But you'll just send them a sample is what they want. But my thing was big enough that, kind of small enough, but big enough that they could just see the whole thing. And so I sent it to several traditional writers, publishers. So a traditional publisher is someone who will sponsor you, pay for the book. They take control of your book, and then they'll pay you up front, but they'll take all the royalties, right? Because they're the ones who are taking the risk at publishing your book and seeing how your book goes. Children's books are extremely, extremely competitive.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of them out there. So like I said, some of them are not so good, and some of them are. And this isn't a Dr. Seuss amazing one, but it's a start, right? It's like, let's give it a process. Let's start. Let's get my idea to something that is presentable, and then I can gift to other people. So from there, I looked at a bunch of self-publishers as well, because it's a faster process. So I waited for all the different rejection letters that I got from the traditional publishers. And I finally started looking at self-publishing, because you want to have it on different formats, right? I have hardcover, paperback, and ebook. Many of these publishers only do paperback and ebook. So I had to really emphasize that I wanted hardcover. And I'll be honest with you, when I got my hardcover, it was everything I had hoped it would be. It was beautiful. It was so much fun to see the print on the side of the binding that said, "I once lived in a magical forest," written, illustrated by Jennifer Webb. That was so amazing. My dream in my book was there. So you have that different, the different formats, and you have to have it's not necessarily a copyright, but an ISBN, which is the number that is associated to the form that it is printed in. So that was something I had to learn. So I had to have an ISBN number, and you can see that in the cover, for each form that I want this book to be covered in.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. So it's so hardback versus soft
hardcover, paperback, and ebook. They each have their own ISBN number.
Oh, okay.
And and that's how the publishing company knows which one to publish and how it is tied to me. So everything, it's like having your own social security number for each thing, and it goes attached to you. So that was kind of fascinating to find that out. And then the nice thing was and don't be afraid to send your samples to other people, because we're like, oh my heavens, they're going to steal my idea. Like, right, what am I going to do that they reject me and they're going to steal my idea and then it's going to go to print?
Right.
Come to find out with copyright laws, because it is in a print form that you own, that you send, they can't steal it. So you have proof that you have it as you or your thing. And then once it goes into a book, then it is fully copyrighted.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to go to the Library of Congress to be copyrighted. Because it goes into print, it's copyrighted. So that was really a cool thing for me to understand and to know, and how that all figures out. So once I signed with a publishing company, and there's lots of self-publishing companies out there,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of them that are just kind of fake.
Not so great. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fake. And they're basically somebody behind a printer that slaps something together and sends it out. And you've got to be really wary of that. I mean, you truly get what you pay for when it comes to publishing. So
now, did this require some investment on your part then in the beginning to get it to, okay.
Yes. Yes. And that's the beautiful thing. I have a wonderful husband who believes in me.
Yeah.
And he was like, yes, you need to fulfill your dream. And so I was like, okay, we're going to try this. And here it is. And I'm just thrilled that I get to share my little story with the world. And because it goes into ebook, the fun thing about that is it made it so I'm now an international author.
Oh.
So it goes, I know, right?
Yeah.
It's
who
like
knew?
instantly, woohoo.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
amazing. But yeah, that'll be because of Amazon's international platform, because of Barnes & Noble's international platform. It is international.
Wow. Wow, that's very cool. Yeah, that's kind of neat. So now you're this international author and
right.
established person.
And
that's cool.
I really encourage anybody, if you want to write, write.
Yeah.
Get it out, enjoy, put it on paper, make it yours, because once you have something on paper, it is yours. It stays with you. It's in your brain. It's in your heart. It's yours when you write.
So cool that you went and took the time, though, to research all this and figure it all out. A lot of people get really discouraged along the way, and they think, well, I can't do this, or I'll never be able to figure this out, and just stop. I'm one of them. I actually wrote a book like when I was in my 20s, and I didn't do anything with it because I was like, oh, I don't know how to do this.
Right?
What am I doing?
You don't have faith in yourself.
I don't even know if I
do
still got it somewhere. I probably do. It's in a folder. I even can see it. I know what it looks like. But a lot of us start off that way, thinking they could do something, and then we get discouraged and move on and do something else. And we still think, and we keep wanting to kind of go back that way. I've done that a million times, thinking I should just do that. But it's so cool to meet people who stuck it out and did it and overcame that and climbed that mountain.
But it's amazing, because when we were growing up, it was hard. Like, we would have had to physically mail this in.
It was much tougher.
Yeah, technology has really opened our eyes, opened our world, and made it so the communication process is simpler and faster.
Yeah.
And I that's why I got so excited about seeing that ebook being a free download on Kindle. I'm like, oh, more people can enjoy this, because I truly believe if it is good enough of a book to be enjoyed for free, then you're going to share it with everybody.
Yeah,
and just enjoy it.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Right. It's like, if it's that good, then just do it. Just have fun and enjoy it. I know that the deaf community here, one of my friends is just elated when she saw this book. She's all about books because pictures mean everything to them.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Because they're very sight oriented, right? Because their hearing isn't always there, right? So words and pictures. And she goes, I said, well, it's a children's book. Your kids are all raised. I don't know that you want that. And your grandkids are all getting married. So I'm like, I don't know if you really want this. She goes, oh, no. She goes, I want this book. You let me know when it comes out. And I know the day it came out, she ordered it right away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'll get you a signed copy. She's like, no. I have to have this book. And she's gotten it and has since just every day texts me how beautiful it is, how excited she is to have it. And she goes, I love being in your magical forest.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous cover. It really is. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and finish up our show again with Jennifer Webb, international author of I Once Lived in the Magical Forest. Folks, we'll be right back with Keeping It Real on the Sherry Ethell Team Long Realty Studios channel. We'll be right back.
We're the real wayfinders, the trailblazers, the go-getters. In a town where the desert wakes before dawn, we don't just talk, we make things happen. And when we speak, it's real, it's genuine, and it's worth hearing. Tune in every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on Cool 104.1 FM. Join the Sherry Ethell Team for Keeping It Real, where top realtors, local heroes, and the heartbeat of our community come together. Raw, authentic conversations, expert market insights, and the best local events you can't afford to miss. Keeping It Real, celebrating our community. Bold, genuine, one of a kind.
Discover excellence in real estate with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, your premier choice in Cochise County. Sherry's amazing team brings honesty, expertise, and a deep understanding of the local market. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned homeowner, they're committed to your peace of mind and handle every detail for you.
Their approach? Personalized service, above and beyond transactional real estate, building lifelong relationships, nationwide connections, local expertise. There's a reason this team is amongst the top realtors in Arizona and across the nation.
You owe it to yourself to call or visit the Sherry Ethell Team, the top team at Long Realty, behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more info. Real integrity, real results.
All right, welcome back to Keeping It Real. I'm Dion Ethell, and this is the Sherry Ethell Team Long Realty Studios. And we are talking with Jennifer Webb, international author. I love saying that. It's so cool.
He's cracking me up.
So cool, so cool. But that is so interesting and so true what you said before the break that, you know, time is changing and the world is smaller now. It's not uncommon for people to talk to somebody from another country. I mean, my kids were playing with kids who were in some other country, you know, on different platforms. And it's just really become a small world. And you've got your fingertips can browse so much information, you know, now.
Absolutely.
And so now having this book and being able to be an international author, that's pretty cool. And it's such a beautiful book. And folks, I wish you could see it. If you just tuning in, this book is a children's book, and it's written and illustrated by Jennifer Webb. And the cool thing about it is these pictures are her pictures, but they've been transformed by artificial intelligence and put into oil paintings. Mm-hmm. And so they look like, I mean, they're beautiful oil paintings, like something you would see in a museum. So, I mean, they're like museum quality art at the same time. So how cool is that you can do that now? I mean, that's just neat.
I love the whole oil concept because it really kept the photos real.
Yeah.
So it just puts the brushstrokes in.
Yeah.
But it really is my photo.
It's something. Yeah, it's yours.
It's my photo. So I'm able to share it because I didn't want to have just like plain pictures in there.
Yeah.
Because you want it to be magical. You want to think of it as kind of a fantastical world.
Right.
I mean, it does exist. And I hope that people who read this book find their own magical forest.
Yeah.
And their own way to, you know, escape wherever they are and find the beauty in nature, find the beauty in life, find the beauty in people wherever they go.
It's got that really soft touch, which kind of, I don't know, plays into the whole children's book kind of theme anyway. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful cover. What a gorgeous book.
I also like the fact that with the oils, it removed a lot of the faces.
Yeah.
Because I wanted people who read this book not to see
Be
somebody.
focused on that?
Yeah. Well, they see somebody and they're like, okay, well, that person's
That's not me.
Yeah, they're enjoying that. It's not me. But yeah,
Okay.
you can put yourself
Yeah.
into these photos and these illustrations and just believe that you're there because this is your world too. And that's the magic about books.
Yeah.
I mean, books take you on an adventure. That's what I wanted to start this out with. We have a lot of fun children's books that talk about different things in life and different things that they experience, but there's not a whole lot of travel children's
that's
books.
True. That's true.
So this is kind of one of those travel concepts, and to reduce anxieties in travel, because for kids, they're used to the little area that they're in, but they don't really know the whole world that's around them. And they're subjugated to moving with parents and thinking out life and giving up friends and starting over again. Especially as they get older, it gets harder because they're more established with their friends and their society and what they're creating. And when you get uprooted, it gets really hard.
Well, it kind of fits with this community, too, being that we're a military family here in town, and we have a strong law enforcement presence as well, that a lot of those folks, have to move every so often. And I know we moved a lot during my time, about every 18 months to 2 years, and it was rough. And, kids move and stuff, and you get uprooted. So that's cool that you're connecting. I can't believe you put this much thought. I mean, even I'm still kind of caught up thinking about those words that you put in there purposely, and to really connect with the children, and so that they would be able to have that word of the day or that thing in their mind, that moment.
Yeah. And when they see these photos, I mean, they could even just be browsing through the photos, but because somebody read to them the text, they'll know the storyline that goes with that particular photo. And or illustration is what I should really be saying, not necessarily photo, because they're illustrations.
It really does look like a true illustration, like somebody purposely painted this picture to be part of that story. But it's cool that it's yours, and that so even special. When you got this for the first time, and you got this first copy, when you got your very first copy and you open it up, get a little tear.
It was funny. I had mixed emotions, because I had expected it a week prior to this, and it didn't come. It was late, and I was kind of upset.
Yeah,
because I had intended to deliver one to my mom, and we were seeing her, and of course it came a week late, and I was like, oh no, I've got to mail it. Yeah, so. Thank you for the post office. I want to put a shout out to them. We appreciate them and all they do, especially during the Christmas season.
Oh, of course, I feel so sorry for them.
Right, we appreciate them. And so I when I got the book, I was like, wow. And then I started looking at other books, because you start comparing now, right? Because now you see, okay, what's out on the market? How is this comparing? And I realized that what I had done was I chose the biggest format that I could get, so the biggest size. I wanted an 8x10, because I wanted it to be like you owned a piece of art in a book.
Yeah.
Because I knew my illustrations were really key to the beauty of this book.
Yeah.
And I wanted to focus on that. So we had the 8x10 size. And then I started seeing I have 40 pages. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. And I look at the other kids' books, and I'm like, yeah, there's not that many. There's not a whole lot of pages. There's a comedian out there, Brian Regan. I don't know if you know him. He's a clean comedian.
Okay.
He made the funniest comment about a children's book, and it was over a clock. And he says, well, the clock says tick. And then he turned the page. The clock says talk. And you turn the page and tick tock. And then he goes, and then there's this huge synopsis about all the things you can talk about why the clock ticks and talks. And he goes, $20. And he's like, what's wrong with this picture, right? And so when I saw the price and I saw everything, and I was like, this is a good value. Time with your kids, in something that will last for a long time with your family. And I really just wanted this to be a magical piece of your children's bookshelf, so that they can always go to it and remember the bonding time that they had with their adult. And I just loved the fact everything came together, and it was exciting. It was exciting to see my name in print.
Yeah, right. It's
fun to say, this is I Once Lived in the Magical Forest, written and illustrated by Jennifer Webb. I mean, that's just amazing to say that. And I hope there's more books to come. And the funds from this go into future projects.
Yeah.
So I
help fund your next one.
Yes. And there's so much more to come, because they're already in the works. So they're ready to go to print.
So one more time, as we're talking about this, where can you find this? Yeah, I know you mentioned it before, but just for people who are just tuning in, because probably people right now are listening to the show and they're driving in their car. They're only going to be here for 5 minutes. They maybe didn't even hear you. So, Jennifer, where do you find this thing?
So, I Once Lived in the Magical Forest, written and illustrated by Jennifer Webb, can be found on Amazon. It's found in ebook. It's found in hardcover and paperback. It's also found on Barnes & Noble, on Apple, and Google. And so I admonish you guys to check out the ebook, especially if you have a Kindle. I was so excited to see that the Kindle, if you have a membership with Kindle, the download is free. It's free, and you can have it instantly.
That's awesome. Free is a great price.
I think it's
now,
great.
Tell me, what does this cost if I wanted this great big book? Because it is a big book. It's full-size sheet of paper, size. So 8 by 10.
It's 8 by 10.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What does that run you if you want a paperback versus like a hard copy?
Right. So the hardcover is obviously more expensive. It takes more time to print that. Yeah. It's so worth the money. It's so beautiful. The whole cover, the back. It's $27.95 is what it retails for. Mm-hmm. The paperback is $16.95.
Okay.
And if you don't have Kindle and you just want an ebook download, it's $9.99.
Oh, wow. Cheap. Yeah, it's really, really affordable. Very cool. So Christmas is coming, and so you've got children in the house, especially. But even if you don't, you just like a great book, Jennifer Webb. Yeah, that's awesome.
Come visit my magical forest.
Yeah.
And then I hope, like I've said before, I really do hope that you open that discussion with your child to find out what is magical in my book that they saw and what would be magical in their place.
To start a conversation. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, about their little place. That's cool. And I love how you've thought this all out and you put it together with very strong purpose, obviously from your experiences with orphanages and whatnot and children and being able to having firsthand knowledge of children and their development process and what kind of those needs are. And then seeing it in your own children, yes. And where you were talking about your story of one of your children who you didn't get you didn't read to them that one night, and then that was kind of like the last night that they were looking for that.
Yeah.
And so we always think about the holidays, and it makes us kind of, I guess, more aware and thankful for what we have, and really. I know it always makes me a little nostalgic and thinking about things. You see the Christmas tree. We have this very different Christmas tree. It's probably very traditional to a lot of people, but it's not the pretty one that you see in the mall with all the same. I told my wife all the time, I'm like, man, I wish we had a tree like that. It's so beautiful. All the same kinds, different sizes of same colors and
the tons of ribbon.
Yeah, ribbon
the
and bows.
Big ornaments.
Yes, and it's just beautiful looking. Ours is lots of homemade stuff, but every place we visit, we always buy an ornament for our tree. It's crazy. We have a lot of ornaments.
I am so with you. That's exactly what we do.
It's very familiar to us.
Yeah.
And so you see some stuff that, gosh, I made when I was a kid, or that, the kids made when they were kids. And, and you see a lot of stuff that has meaning, I guess, to our life and places we've visited that you wouldn't know unless you knew the story behind it. And you see it and, oh, I totally remember where that came from. And we just thought it was funny and we got that and it's on the tree, And so that's, I guess these things, it really reminds you of that and brings you into that thankfulness that you have that opportunity with your children and you have opportunity with your grandchildren or somebody,
Absolutely.
Super cool that you created
Build those
this.
Bonding moments. And like I said, with the activity page in the back, take the book out in nature. Go find those animals. We have animals that are different here. Go take them out there. Have that moment when you're out on a walk with your kid. Take them somewhere and
great
find
idea.
something new. Enjoy it. So you have a bonding in reading, but you also have a bonding in an activity. Do you want
really
something
cool.
funny? I'll tell you a funny. So in the word search, there's the key has the big and little letters. And so in the word search, I specifically wrote in the letters that aren't used, so the small little letters
Yeah.
that aren't used, it says from top to bottom, left to right, if you put them in order, it says, I once lived in the magical forest, written and illustrated by
What?
Jennifer Webb.
You were so funny.
I totally created this. I was laughing my head off when I did this, and I know people that are listening don't know me very well, but I was thinking of the Christmas Story when
Yeah.
Freddie gets his decoder for the malto mail, right?
Yeah.
And he goes running into his house because he thinks he's going to get this secret code now because he's going to just decode it now. He's got his thing. And all it was an advertisement for eating more malto meal.
Right.
So I just kind of laugh at that. People don't know that secret. I didn't advertise it, but I
So
just
Service
thought,
is getting a little
yeah,
secret
so
that
there's
nobody
this
else
little
has.
thing in there that just is kind of my own personality
Yeah.
that I just wanted something fun and funny because I created it and I just wanted to put my stamp
Oh,
on
that's
it.
cool.
So-
Well, we are throwing this on YouTube now, so
Oh.
so there will be some other people who get it now who listen. But that's really cool. That's very cool. Well, thanks again, Jennifer, for coming in today and sharing this piece of your life with us. This show's all about community and learning about cool people in our neighborhood. And you're one of them, and
I love
such a
Sierra
fantastic
Vista.
person.
I love it
You
here.
know, we love you. So just really enjoy this cool book. I hope everybody goes out and buys it or gets it on their Kindle and has an opportunity to take a look. So.
And if you can't get it in time for Christmas, think about Easter. I always had a book for Easter. That's
Yeah.
not too far off.
Yeah.
And then this will be there in time and you can get the nice, beautiful hardcover. Thank you so much for having me. What a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, this has been Keepin' It Real, brought to you by the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios. And folks, we'll be right back after these brief messages. It's the Home Spotlight Series, brought to you by the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, where home stories are told until they're sold.
Hi friends, Sherry Ethell here. You won't want to miss 6209 East Saddlehorn Drive in picturesque Kings Ranch. This incredible 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1834 square foot home delivers breathtaking views of the Huachuca Mountains from every corner. Inside you'll love the bright and open layout, the tall ceilings, beautiful flooring, and a kitchen that stuns with white cabinetry, granite counters, stainless steel appliances, and a breakfast bar. The primary suite features a walk-in closet, dual vanities, a garden tub, and separate shower. The guest rooms are spacious, and the 3-car garage includes a sparkling epoxy finish. Step out back to a huge, fully fenced yard and a large covered patio perfect for relaxing, entertaining, or even adding a pool. 6209 East Saddlehorn Drive, listed at $455,000.
Buy and sell with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty. We make success stories for a living.
In a town with heart and history, the Sherry Ethell Team is the key. Serving service that we agree for military law and retirees. Stress-free process you will see. Personal care is our guarantee. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team, we never halt. Real experts here to guide your way, making dreams come true every single day. Trusted team that knows just what to do. The Sherry Ethell Team, working for you. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team is your one and only call.
That brings us to the end of another Keepin' It Real radio show, and we just want to say a big thank you for letting us be a small part of your weekend. Whether you're a longtime listener or just caught us for the first time today, we're so glad you're here. Got something you'd love us to talk about? Maybe a local story, a cool event, maybe a guest idea. Maybe you're related to or know someone who has an interesting story, profession, or past. We would love to hear from you, so drop it in our Keepin' It Real suggestion box at Long Realty. We're located just behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. Or if it's easier, you can email me directly at sherry@sherryethelteam.com or call me or text me at 717-599-2439. This is your show, and it's all about our community, our connections, and the what's up of Cochise County, and as always, keeping things real. And your voice will help shape what we do next. We'll see you next Saturday from 7 to 8 a.m. right here on 104.1 CoolFM, making radio cool again.
Stay safe and stay cool, Cochise County, and keep it real.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Keepin' It Real radio show. Join us next Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. for more engaging interviews with top realtors and industry leaders, keeping you informed about the latest trends in real estate. Stay connected with us as we bring you updates on the dynamic events shaping our vibrant community. From exciting local happenings to noteworthy charities and causes, we've got you covered. See you next week for another edition of Keepin' It Real.